Platoon had the best comment on this, I think. Our friend Little Platoon. It's like some Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing. Young women go to Hollywood seemingly normal, even quite talented, and then they come out saying not only the same asinine things, but in exactly the same asinine ways. Nobody who has not been body swapped by a pod uses phrases like ownership of women's bodies. Nobody. It's pod speak. You can always tell pod speak because the words are the same and the speaker is totally interchangeable. They do not think, they recite.
Nerderotic.com.
Millie Alcock. It's Alcock, guys.
Alcock.
I'll say it how I want to say it.
Not all.
All the cock.
All the cock.
All the cock.
Or is it AI cock?
Did this statement come out prior?
It was the day before the trailers launched on Vanity Fair.
All right. Supergirl star Millie Alcock says, I really can't stop backlash and understands why Scorsese, Ridley Scott criticize her movies. Not every film is for everyone. It definitely made me aware of simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself.
You're in showbiz.
Well, yes. My favorite part of this, though, is everyone was going, what do you mean we don't own you? And then the media came out and went, yes, you do. You're proving her correct.
The conversation there is straddling two different franchises there. It's straddling the Game of Thrones with House of the Dragon and also Supergirl. But, like, it's really difficult to pick apart what she's actually referring to there. Because, like, did people comment on the fact that she was in House of the Dragon?
That's what they're alluding to, is that people make comments about, I guess, her looks or her body or something.
And nobody did.
Also,
I think Variety was just trying to throw that in to say she's part of a fandom. I don't know if she even said anything because we all covered House of the Dragon and we all said she was great. And I never heard a single complaint about her.
There was a lot of criticism for what's her name who plays older Rhaenyra.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
There was discussion surround, well, not a ton of criticism, but a lot of discussion surrounding whether this was the right person and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of Millie Alcock, it seemed all fairly positive.
She was good in it. She was the better Rhaenyra.
And let's be real, even if a bunch of people say something, if you're going to promote your female-driven superhero movie, this is the exact wrong thing to say. Right? Because this never happens for things that are good and successful. It does seem to happen, right? Nope. These comments only seem to come out before things that the people making them are very, very worried about failing.
Yeah, it sounds like she's insecure about her performance, so she is just padding the critiques by putting this out there.
Particularly in recent years, these female-led superhero movies generally haven't had a great track record. Like, there's always the occasional one that bucks the trend, like Wonder Woman, that did really well. But generally speaking, things like The Marvels or like Birds of Prey, like all of those things have flopped disastrously. I think they know the same thing's going to happen here. It could come down to a number of things. It could be like the DC brand isn't particularly strong under James Gunn because it's been mismanaged for years. There's a degree of superhero fatigue. The movie itself might kind of suck. We don't know. Like the test screenings haven't been great. And well, there's no getting around the fact that your audience for comic book movies, for superhero movies, is predominantly male. And if you don't appeal to them, you're not going to have a successful film. So all of those things are working against this movie. I think they know that. I think they know it's going to underperform, if not outright flop, and they're trying to cover their bases early.
Because this makes no sense. Corn Sweat got all kinds of people talking about him, and he's a man. He's not a woman. People trash that movie.
Well, if you look through it just using a microscope, not seeing the broader picture, and zoom on women getting criticism in movies, you think, oh, look at all this sexism, misogyny. When you expand the picture, look at everything in context, you're like, everybody gets criticized. So they're setting her up to be a victim, and it's the old shit we've seen for years and years and years. It's deflection of their own failures.
This stuff was viable maybe in 2018, 2019. Now, we've seen it a million times before, and it never works. People are wise to it now. It's such a pointless play.
I was just going to say it was really ironic that Drinker mentioned Wonder Woman because I think that Gal Gadot probably had more discussion about her and her body and all of these things leading up to that movie than a lot of these other female superhero movies that we've had out there. But I didn't hear a bunch of complaining from her. I didn't hear this, like, whatever. And the movie went on, and some people like it, some people don't, but it was very successful.
Yes. Can I also point out, Ryan, that a lot of people that are going after us for what we said, how are they criticizing Gal Gadot now just because she's Israeli? So, like, it's such a bunch of fucking bullshit. That's all it is.
They're given talking points. That's all it is. They're given talking points by publicists, by studios, and that's what they have to recite. And that's all they do.
No one is talking that there's a problem with a woman playing Supergirl, as that's just a fact. But why is she on the screen? She's there for the enjoyment of the audience. And so obviously the audience are going to critique what's on the screen in the first place.
Yes.
And if somebody better could have pleased the audience more, they should be in the role instead. And yet this is a whole point of you're no longer playing essentially a character, which is just an object on a screen. You want to make it about you, because now I'm assaulting a person rather than a product that I'm paying money for.
Well,
and that is an entire social difference.
And it overlooks like the insane pressure that's put on guys as well to look buff, to look amazing, to look like bodybuilders and all of their shit. There was this ridiculous like report from Variety that just came out the other day from Lily Reinhart. She says a male director came up to me on set and said, just suck in your stomach a little bit. Like that was some fucking national emergency that we should all be like deeply concerned about. Oh, fucking I'm sorry. Have you seen what the guys in the Marvel movies have to put themselves through just to do their completely pointless but obligatory shirtless scenes? These guys are putting themselves through the kind of regimes that would buckle professional athletes. Do they complain about it? Do they say, they just fucking go to the gym and work out like they're told to?
And for the most part, the women in these superhero spaces don't go through the physical regime that the men do because they're not asked. It's a terrible movie. But Mackenzie Davis in Terminator Dark Fate at least went out and like worked out, got yoked.
Look at Jessica Biel in
Jessica Biel,
right?
Yes,
she was fucking jacked, but she looked amazing. She put the work in. Guess what? Like she didn't complain about it. She didn't be like, "Oh, I'm getting objectified in this movie." She was told to work out and get buff, and she fucking did.
As I pointed out to Angry Joe, Hugh Jackman, Heath Ledger, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck all got a ton of shit. They just shut up and they did their thing. Yes, they were saying Michael Keaton was too short. He was too bald. He was too old.
Every time a relevant superhero gets cast, we have these discussions. And usually it's about men. And people don't have any problem saying, I don't know if Ben Affleck is big enough to play this character. I don't know if David Cornsweet is big enough. Like, we have no issues discussing these. And it's normal because we're talking about a visual medium that is brought to life. Yet somehow there's a double standard when it comes to the women.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
Gary, did you send to Joe an extra large packet of Anusol just for his massive butt?
Maybe.
Fuck package, off, Joe, you fucking has-been.
He's gotten bigger.
I don't care what you think.
He's gotten a little bigger. I ain't seen him in a while, and
it's like Grace Randolph, and then it's Angry Joe when it comes to worst movie takes in the fucking world ever.
Yeah, dude. Any interaction with Angry Joe goes, he spurgs, you respond. He spurgs again, you respond, and then he spurgs.
No, Jeremy. Then he goes into your DMs and goes, "I thought you were one of the good guys. I thought you were one of the nice guys. I thought you weren't a Trumpy poopy papa poo poo."
By the way, with Papa Esidu or Esweedu, I don't care. And Millie Alcock, if you think they were just talking off the cuff in these interviews, you're crazy. Okay, absolutely everything is planned by a marketing team. They know exactly what they're fucking doing with these movies. But the thought from Hollywood, when you get out in front of these things, is you can make your movie a movement. It shields you from criticism. This worked once to great effect. It was called Black Panther. Marvel convinced America that if you went to see Black Panther, you're fighting racism and defeating racism.
Yes.
To this day, there are people that will defend Black Panther to the death.
Remember, they were busing inner city children in to go see Black Panther, and they were busing little girls. Nothing from Hollywood is authentic. And this is something I always kind of believed, right? Until I talked to somebody pretty high up at Amazon. The approach with the Rings of Power, when they went out and got in front of it by basically having certain handpicked Tolkien scholars and called the fandoms racist and questioned Tolkien, that came straight from Jennifer Salke, who had a background, not anymore, in marketing. That's where she came from. While the corporations play with this, the ultimate villain in a lot of this that is fucked up fandom and turn a lot of the genre stuff to the state it is the access media. And they've been doing it for years, with Mark Milken out there. And, it's up to the actors not to fall into these traps. And it's pretty easy to just go out and go, gee, guys, I hope you really enjoy the movie. We worked really hard on it. That's all you need to say. Their job in the access media is to get a soundbite to gaslight, and then they can still make it the fans' fault, right? So when I brought up what Millie Alcock said, and I just said, you just killed your movie in the crib, it's not really a judgment on the movie because I haven't seen it. It's what we've seen before. It's pattern recognition. We've seen this time and time again. How many times have we gotten a good movie out of this? How many times has this been a successful move?
We've seen 2 trailers for this now. It looks abysmal. The Marvel's level of abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, I get the impression that it's less like disgust or like hatred for this movie, that no one even feels that. It's just apathy.
Yeah.
Like people have watched these trailers and just said, nah, it just looks like another generic James Gunn style superhero flick, and we're so fucking over that. Movies like this, where it's like everyone's just a bit cynical and like, I'm not here to live up to your superhero expectations. You know, that sort of thing was very much timely 5 or 6 years ago. Probably more like 10 years ago at this point. You know, when you wanted to get to almost the parody stage of superhero movies, it was different. It was a bit like edgy. Okay, fine. That worked in its time, but that has a very limited lifespan. And now that lifespan has expired. And a movie like this just feels like it's playing catch up with an era that's already come and gone. Whereas timeless kind of movie, like the Donner version of Superman, where it's just genuine heroism. It's like an old fashioned movie by every measure, but people would still watch it today because it's got those timeless themes in it. This movie doesn't. It was timely, but that time has passed and it's missed it.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.